Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about dividing multi-digit decimals. To divide multi-digit decimals, it's easier to complete the division when the divisor is a whole number. So I'm reading from this little thought bubble over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply both the divisor and the dividend by the same power of 10, because a power of 10 is just going to move the decimal to make the number be what we want. So I want to make this 0.12 a whole number. So I'm going to move this decimal twice, 1, 2, which means I'm going to move this decimal twice, 1, 2. So this problem now becomes 0.6 divided by 12. So when I create my chart over here, I'm going to create it using the 12 here. So 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108. Now this 12, is the number that goes on the outside. So 12 and then into 0.6. Now when you're dividing with a decimal already in the problem, we're going to bring that decimal right up to our answer. I like the leading 0, so I'm going to put it in. And then just like with multi-digit whole numbers, you can add zeros to make sure that your division works. So the first question I'm going to ask is, does 12 go into 6? The answer is no, so I'm going to put a 0 up here, and then I'm going to add a 0. And now I can say, does 12 go into 60? And the answer is yes, 5 times. 12 times 5 is 60, and when I subtract, I get my happy face 0. So 0.006 divided by 0.12 is equal to 0.05. Just like anything else in math class, we are using balancing. So whatever we did to one number, we must also have done to the other number. So because I moved the decimal twice in the divisor, I must also do it to the dividend, and then I'm following the rules for long division. So in example 2, I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3 times. So I'm going to take this decimal and move it 1, 2, 3 times. So this becomes 60,927 divided by 12, which is dividing multi-digit whole numbers. So if I can do long division with multi-digit whole numbers for this problem, I can do this long division. So 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96, 108. And I'm just copying those directly from the multiplication chart or doing it from memory, however you choose. So 12 into 60,927. I am going to make sure to leave room because I don't know if this answer has a decimal in it. So 12 goes into 65 times. When I subtract, I get a 0, so I'm going to bring down the 9. 12 does not go into 9, so in order to move over, I do have to put a 0 there. So I'm going to bring down 2. 12 goes into 92 7 times, because 96 is too big. So I borrow, 12 minus 4 is 8, and then I bring down. It's going to be 7 again. 87 minus 84 is 3. And I am going to have to add a decimal here. So here's my decimal. And then I'm going to also add that decimal to my answer. There's my 0 that I can bring down. So 12 goes into 32 times. That's not right. 12 times 2 is 24, not 25. 30 minus 24 is 6. I'm going to add one more 0. And when I bring it down, 12 times 5 is 60. And I get my happy face 0. So 60.927 divided by 0.012 is 5,077.25. It makes sense that a really tiny number would go into a larger number a lot of times. So this answer makes sense. In part B here, I'm going to move this decimal 2 times, 1, 2. So I'm going to move this one 2 times, 1, 2. So this becomes 294.3 divided by 27. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my multiplication chart with 27. 27 is not in my multiplication chart, so I'm just going to do some repeated addition. So 27 plus 27 is 54. Plus 27, 81. Plus 27 is going to be 108. Plus 27 is going to be 135. Plus 27, 162. Plus 27 is going to be 189. 216. And then one more, 243. This part, this creating of this multiplication chart, is probably the most important part of these long division problems, because if I have that multiplication chart, then I'm not guessing. I'm not doing any guess and check. I'm not trying any factors. I know exactly what those multiples are, and I can use them to help me do my long division. So this is probably the most important part. You want to make sure that you're double, triple checking that your multiplication or your repeated addition is correct. So now I'm going to do 27 into 294.3. Now there's already a decimal in my problem, so I don't have to add one later. If I get to that point, I'm just going to end up bringing it up to the answer line when I get to that point. So 27 goes into 29 one time. 29 minus 27 is 2. I'm going to bring down the 4. 27 does not go into 24, so I'm going to move over with a 0. And I'm going to bring the decimal up this time because I am to that point. And I'm going to bring down this 3. 27 goes into 243 9 times. So 243 is going to give me my happy face 0. So 2.943 divided by 0.27 is 10.9. So here's my answer right here. Okay. Part C says, if Mr. Gonzalez has $3.38 left from buying pears and plums, how many pounds of oranges could he buy if they cost 52 cents per pound? So I want to know how many times this goes into that. So I'm going to do 3.38 divided by 0.52. So this decimal needs to move twice, 1, 2. This decimal needs to move twice, 1, 2. So this becomes 338 divided by 52. Now I didn't give a chart down here, but I can still create one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 104, 156, 208, 260, 312. 364. 416. And 468. So even when you're not given the chart, you can create one. And again, you want to make sure that those are correct. So I want to double, triple, quadruple check that my multiplication chart is correct before I start my division. So now I'm going to do 52 into 338. We're back to dividing with multi-digit whole numbers because the decimal moved the same number of times and both the decimals move out of the number. So 52 does not go into 3. It doesn't go into 33. It does go into 338 6 times. So 312. 8 minus 2 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. And I'm going to add my decimal and a 0. And then 260 is going to be 5 times. So happy phase 0. So I'm going to say 6.5 pounds. Okay, this was dividing with multi-digit decimals. You want to make the divisor, or the number that is being used to do the dividing, that second number, you want to make that into a whole number by moving the decimal a number of times. And then you're going to do that same motion to the other number. A lot of times it's going to turn it into division with multi-digit whole numbers. There may be a decimal in your dividends still. Just make sure that you're bringing it up to your answer line.